All right, thanks, Matt. It's a question every parent is faced with these days. When should your child get their first cell phone?
Latest research shows the average age is 10. But just this week, a Verizon spokesperson told us they've sold phones for kids as young as 6.
So this is a vastly different age group that we're dealing with. There's an incredible amount of things that these smartphones can do. So this is an important conversation that families are having and continue to have about when is the right time to get that smartphone.
Obviously, it's up to the parent to decide what is the right age for that first phone. And when you make that decision, though, you don't necessarily need to go all in and get the full-on fanciest smartphones on the market. Christiane Cordero has looked into some options as to the different types of phones that are out there, and she is live in St. Paul. Christiane, my biggest regret is giving our kids full smartphones right from the beginning.
I gather a lot of parents are probably in the same camp as you, Jason. There are certainly some features kids maybe don't need, and probably some parents who don't want their kids to have all of those features. But whenever is the right time for your child to have their cell phone, that of course is up for you to decide. Whenever that time comes, though, you should know at the very least that you have a whole lot of options. So almost every carrier and phone manufacturer has its own version of connected technology for kids. Some are in the form of a smartwatch. Some might look like your first cell phone, if you remember those old Nokias. Based on what your child needs, you can get something as basic as a GPS tracker that's compatible with your phone. You can get phones catered to adults, but just keep certain features off until they're ready. Or maybe you want to resist that temptation altogether and get something like this Gizmo watch, for example, from Verizon, which has GPS and also lets them call and text, but only to a limited number of people that you decide.
It doesn't allow anyone to reach out and talk to them, and they're not able to download those applications. So, you know, that would probably be the lowest end device that you would get a child in terms of the simplest for them to use. And then graduating them up, you know, there's still flip phones out there. Feature phones are still something that you very well could give a child, gives them the ability to call and text. But again, you don't get that full access to the internet as well as application.
Now, this all has to do with hardware, right? Stick with us at 5:30 and we'll talk about some of the software options that you as a parent have. Jason, some pretty cool stuff out there that was vastly different from my childhood, at least, where you can, as a parent, just toggle the Wi-Fi and data off just to really control when they're using their phone, make sure they're using it appropriately by your standards.
Yeah, definitely. The flip phone is alive and well, right? And you think about when you talk to parents, like, why do you want to get your kid a phone? Usually it's because you want to keep in touch with them during an emergency or whatever. Flip phone would be enough, right?
Exactly, it's enough. And one thing that I had to do when I was in high school, right, is I had to convince my parents of why I needed anything that was more than just the super basic one. So it's a conversation that not a lot of people can answer until you're much older.
Very good. Christiane, thank you. Yep, make those kids put together a PowerPoint. You should.
Give me your argument.
Speech ready.
Should have to apply.
Now, your kids have smartphones?
They do, yeah. We got them. So we gave them like our old smartphones. So we weren't buying new hardware for them. But I do think like at age 10 or, you know, 5th, 6th grade when kids are starting.
You just need a flip phone.
They just need the tax. That's really the thing. Yeah.
All right, well, parents, did your kid put a cell phone on his or her wish list this year? If so, you've been doing your research and you know that there are a lot of options.
Whether it's just connectivity and keeping track in a safety perspective, or if it's truly jumping in all the way and needing to utilize apps, you know, be on social media and things like that.
Well, even if you jump all the way in, you as the parent can still control just about everything that happens on your kids' phones. Christiane Cordero joins us now live from St. Paul to explain some of those options that parents can download. So how does it all work, Christiane?
Well, Kim, carriers and companies are getting really advanced with finding ways to give parents even more control over their devices, and the technology making that happen is improving really quickly. All 4 major carriers, Sprint, T-Mobile, AT&T, and Verizon, all have their own versions of parental controls. The apps themselves can vary in price and ability, but they can all limit which apps can be used as well as limiting screen time. Some, like Verizon's, can also track your child's location and send you a push alert when they get somewhere specific.
So it really allows you as a parent to ensure that the kids are not, you know, browsing and accessing things that they shouldn't. You can also see when they're texting, who they're texting, maintain control of applications, block certain categories.
So that one from Verizon costs $10 a month. They have a cheaper one that does not have the location services on for $5 a month, which is generally the price range across the board. T-Mobile has one for $10, AT&T's is $8 a month, Sprint's Family Locator is $5 a month. The data restriction part is a really interesting for me, Kim, because when you think about the ways that you can just kind of flip on your phone and turn off data and Wi-Fi services, of course, it's a really popular feature for dinner time and for homework time, but when you look at it from a safety perspective, right, and limiting distracted driving among teenagers, that could be a really interesting one there.
Certainly, yeah. Just so scary for parents these days with kids in cars and phones. So nice to have all these options out there. Christiane, thank you.
We have a pretty low-tech solution in our house. It's called Give Me Your Phone.
That works too.
Give me the phone.
Just hand it over.
You give me the phone. That's how it works.
That's a safe way to do it.